We live in a world of perpetual bombardment, a constant attack on our sight, our senses, our skin. It's a chaotic world, a violent world, a threatening world. But it can also be a healing world, if you know where to look.
This is the arrival tree for the top of Sugarloaf Mountain.
We started talking again and laughing again and essentially falling back in love again.
I was a really good Marine. I really wore that hat well. That hat only works in that environment.
Being in the water actually changes our brains, makes it more malleable.
Go Marina, go Marina, go! There we go. And smile up here.
Let's go change the world. We're gonna go change the world.
There are places on this earth where you can almost feel your body repairing itself. If not the fountain of youth, a sea of health to bathe in its rejuvenating waters. When your job is weather, it's just natural to believe the elements of our world would have a profound effect on our bodies, not just the bad, but also the good. But for me, a mother of a special needs child, my family just feels better in nature. But I wanted to see it firsthand for others, to see it quantified, beyond just the hunches of a mom. So I started the most logical place of all, at the doctor's. Hi,
Hello.
Dr. White.
It's great to meet you.
Great to meet you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Dr. John White is Chief Medical Officer for WebMD and has given lectures specifically on how the body reacts to the outside environment.
When you step outside, the body really has this immediate reaction to the environment that it's in. What it's seeing, what it's hearing, what it's smelling.
I've learned just in my experience in life, being outside, I just feel better. I feel rejuvenated, it makes me happy. What does your body go through when you're outside in the elements and you're feeling the sun and you're hearing all the noises of nature?
You know, there's a biologic reason why you feel better. And what's happening is your heart rate is slowing down. Your blood pressure is getting in that normal range. Your breathing is deeper and better. We talked about this concept of, forest bathing.
It's beautiful out here.
It is. I mean, Britta, how do you feel? I mean, take it all in.
I feel the difference. I mean, listening to the falls, I mean, the water literally dropping off, even the feel of the humidity and the heat and the smell of the leaves.
Absolutely, and just, it's calming. What it's talking about is just being outside. We should be writing a nature prescription.
I want to put that theory to the test, so I'm off to a place known for weather in both extremes. When you think of Charleston, you probably think of its many churches, horse-drawn carriages, and pre-America architecture. But to the locals, the essence of the holy city lives among its barrier islands, rivers, and beaches. It's hard to beat a sunrise in the Lowcountry. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, how are you?
To tap into the healing power of this area, all you need is a local guide.
Coming in hot.
Like my new friend, Kyle Busey, owner of the Charleston Paddle Company.
Get out on the water. You're surrounded by so much water here. You almost have to deliberately shy away from it. But yeah, by Charleston is just the smell of pluff mud, outside, country cooking.
Charleston was founded at the confluence of the Cooper and Ashley Rivers. The first residents of this colonial city were said to have moved to the southeast side of the peninsula, seeking the healing breezes from the ocean. The location makes it sometimes prone to hurricanes. In 1989, Hurricane Hugo ripped through the holy city, damaging more than 10,000 homes, flooding downtown, and causing billions in destruction. But those days are rare. Most, like the one I've planned for some paddleboard yoga on Folly Island, are light years away from the storms.
Right now we're in this nice little secluded little estuary. Too shallow for boats to go, so we tend to be very secluded, very private, kind of see wildlife that you normally wouldn't see. The farther you can get away from boats and people, the happier I seem to become. You know, having these paddleboards, we have the tools to kind of get into where people usually can't go.
It's okay if we fall off. We are obviously not on solid ground here. Exhale, extend the leg. Anchoring down with the two hands, we're going to tuck the toes, step back, downward facing dog.
You know, I think it's a primitive thing for most people. I think a lot of people have lost touch of that. You know, being here in Charleston, South Carolina, it's like, it just kind of comes natural.
And then putting a bend in that right arm, taking that left hand up, overhead, opening up the shoulder here, rolling the shoulder.
It just gives you such peace of mind, and it just kind of seems to calm everything down. No matter how bad your day is going, it seems to just kind of balance everything out a little bit better.
Feeling stable here. And then we're going to open up the arms, coming into warrior two. Breathing in here, gazes over the front middle finger.
What did you grow to love about SUP?
You know, just nature. Anything you can do to get yourself in nature. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's hiking, surfing, paddleboarding. Tap into your instincts, tap into your senses, and just kind of make you just overall give you a better understanding of who you are.
You had mentioned that you're an athlete, you've had some injuries. How does practicing yoga, how's it healed your body from those injuries?
Yoga helps you heal mentally, emotionally, physically. Inhale, bring it forward, dropping the hips.
I think it's something so primitive we don't even recognize it. I think it goes down to such a molecular kind of biological level that we can't even explain it.
Thank you for sharing your energy and your light with me today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.
The only thing you really can do is get out there and surround yourself with it and just accept what it is and try to indulge as much as you can.
There are many places to indulge. On the other side of the island, a southern surf haven. Open water to recenter yourself and be present. That's why Warrior Surf Foundation chose this place for its healing waters. What is Warrior Surf?
So Warrior Surf serves veterans and their families through adaptive surf therapy. It's free to veterans and their families. It's a free 12-week program that anyone can participate, no matter what your era or branch of service is. We welcome all veterans. On the face of it, that probably sounds really crazy. You're like, how can surf therapy help veterans with PTSD and anxiety? It's more than just pushing people into the waves. We take the experiential activity of surfing. Being in the water actually changes our brains, makes it more malleable, and we pair that with community, with yoga, and more importantly, with wellness coaching. And our wellness coaching program looks like psychoeducation, resiliency, mindfulness, and those are some of the things that veterans really struggle with, is being present in the moment. So we want them to learn the skills that they have in the water and then actually use the wellness coaching to take them back on land.
Stephanie has firsthand knowledge. She served herself and married a vet.
I actually got involved with Warrior Surf Foundation in 2017. My husband's a combat veteran, and he did a lot of different therapies, some experimental ones, and nothing was working. I would find him hiding in the closet. I was afraid to leave him at home alone, and I brought him out here, and he hated it. He hated every second of it. But I saw something behind his eyes, just a little twinkle of maybe an acceptance of the challenge, something just slightly greater than the fear that he had. And I watched him slowly unravel and just changed his total outlook on life.
What does it mean to you to be with Warrior Surf?
It changed our lives. You know, we were really struggling. I think that there was a time where we were on the cusp of maybe separating or getting a divorce, because some of those things that we struggled with are hard. They're hard for anybody to deal with, and it created a path forward for us.
Warrior Surf has offered me a chance to experience that healing. But first I need a lesson.
Hands up, paddling, bring my hands flat to the deck, create space. My shoulders stay open toward the front, and I always look down in front of me. I never look down, right?
I would have fallen.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Now I'm ready, right? exhilarating, but I am not a combat vet. Tommy Williams is.
Tommy Williams, Sergeant First Class retired, Army, paratrooper.
Tommy, where did you serve?
I was in the invasion during Iraq the second time, the 173rd Airborne Brigade. Another 4 deployments with the 173rd, and then my last deployment with the Corps of Engineers in Kandahar. It's fun times. It's more than just a civil duty. You know, you do it for your family, you do it for your community, because you're protecting them as well, not just your comrades left or right. There was a firefight up in Pesh River Valley, up around Camp Blessing, Asadabad in Afghanistan. We just got done. We're getting, rounding everything up on our mine detecting vehicle. And my best friend Jeff, he just comes up and hands me his water, like ice cold. You know, and it was 100 and whatever, a screen door to hell that day. You know, it was about the only thing that was separating us for the heat. And he gave me his water, and it was like, thanks, because I was dying. You know, and he just saw that, and he saw that I needed that more than him. And it's just a bottle of water, you know, but it was more than that, you know what I mean? You come out here in the morning and count bottles of water all over the place. But that one bottle of water and all the other, it was just worth more than money at that point. Those connections like that, when we get out, we're not able to, I was not able to express things that were going on. Up until I found Warrior Surf, I was kind of looking, I was lost. You could have all the people around you in the world, and if they're not supporting you, you're going to be lonely. If they ain't got your back, you know, things like that, you're going to be lonely. Being alone is when you're reaching out and nobody's recognizes.
And we're indoctrinating them into a system where they have very specific cultural values, rituals, all of that. And then we just drop them right back into society, and that can be really difficult. I liken it to finding a wolf on the side of the road and bringing it into your house. There's nothing wrong with the wolf. There's something wrong with where the wolf has been placed in the way it's been placed there.
What does Warrior Surf Foundation mean to you?
A new chance at life, a new start. It's just about getting out. Getting out of the house, moving, and taking ownership and saying, hey, I do have a problem. What am I going to do to fix it? Because you can't expect everyone else to fix your problems. You got to realize what the problems are and face your demons and confront them.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
It is an honor to speak to somebody like Tommy, who gave so much so I can have something as simple as being with my family. I mean, that's really, really special. Thank you for your service.
If somebody wants to help Warrior Surf, the easiest place to do that is go to www.warriorsurf.org. There's links to donate, to volunteer, to get involved.
Warrior Surf Foundation is one of the newer organizations supporting our veterans. An organization founded shortly after 9/11 is the Wounded Warrior Project. And they have an approach that goes under the surface and above.
At Fox Weather, no matter the situation, we've got you covered.
Through the best and worst weather and everything in between.
We're all in this together.
Because there's nothing more important to us than keeping you safe.
From morning forecasts to holiday travel, we're here for you.
We have a passion for weather and a passion for people.
That's why we love what we do.
Fox Weather, weathering it together.
My quest to discover the true healing powers of nature has introduced me to warriors finding natural remedies in the ocean. But to go deeper, I want to find the healing connection not just to the water, but also the creatures who live in it.
The human-animal connection. We've known it for centuries. I love the story about dolphins. I've always been interested in dolphins. I worked with dolphins a very long time ago, and We see numerous research that talks about children with different type of impairments, including adults, and just bonding with a dolphin in the water. There's a lot of science behind it.
Nowhere is that more clearly demonstrated than at the Dolphin Research Center in the Florida Keys. There's just something about dolphins and humans, a natural connection that fascinates all of us. But if you look closer, you will see this connection can be healing. And that's why I've come to the Dolphin Research Center in the Florida Keys. Here, the DRC provides forever homes for dolphins who need protection in the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, here's some more friends. Ice view.
The soul of the Dolphin Research Center is its founder, Mandy Rodriguez. And his connection with these majestic creatures goes way back.
Whoop, hit you right in the head. I got into it because I was a young 19-year-old Marine that came back from Vietnam with my head screwed on backwards. I would have been a statistic had it not been for dolphins. There is a price of service. Wars are fought by teenagers. And what you see in war stays with you. It's funny because they train you how to defend yourself and how to survive. They don't train you how to come out of that and how to survive in the world again, as we call it, after you've seen all of those atrocities, from friends dying in front of you to seeing a whole bunch of things that teenagers shouldn't be really looking at. But yet, when you get out, you have to do it on your own. Well, I didn't do it on my own. Dolphins helped me.
Mandy's understanding of how dolphins can help veterans is the inspiration for Project Odyssey, a program of the Wounded Warrior Project where veterans swim with dolphins.
Most of the time on Project Odyssey, we come into contact with a lot of our warriors that have suffered PTSD, depression, anxiety. That's why it's so important that we come here this week and we offer them coping skills. We help them work on their resiliency and building their support network so they know when they leave here this week that they're not alone and they have a group of warriors behind them supporting them on their journey towards recovery.
Wounded Warriors is an amazing, amazing, amazing group. We were invited to receive an award by Wounded Warriors, and we were all sitting down, and it all started by them asking for the Vietnam veterans to stand up, and I went, oh, here we go again, they're going to throw us out. They actually thanked us. Because had it not been for us, maybe we wouldn't be recognizing our heroes today. And that was pretty cool. These animals helped me a great deal. Maybe if they worked for me, it would work for somebody else.
On this day, Wounded Warriors brought in a group of female veterans as part of Project Odyssey. This is Summer. And this is Marina.
The most important thing I ask you guys when you're in the water is that you do not reach out and touch any of the ladies unless I give you the go-ahead. When you are interacting with them, watch out for their eyes, their mouth, and their blowhole. The same way we don't want strangers' hands in our faces, these girls want and deserve that same respect, okay? All right, Summer. Oh, she got it. You can turn around and watch her. Oh, Marina got it too. Nice, Em. All right, go ahead and float one more time. Marina's looking. Summer's coming to your right hand, and Marina's on your left. Perfect.
I wanted to experience it firsthand.
Go, Marina, go, Marina, go! There we go. And smile up here.
I have to admit, I was a little anxious about getting so close to these bottlenose dolphins. But that fear evaporated in a matter of minutes. And before long, I was relaxed and along for the ride.
Just being in the water and seeing how the dolphins really communicate with people. I mean, I never had really experienced that before, so it was more just like, oh wow, this is like such a connection. Like, hey, the dolphins got you.
They're very intuitive. If you get in and you're nervous and your heart is racing, their echolocation, they know that. When we have the warriors come down and get to interact and introduce them, for the first time, a lot of them are meeting dolphins. So to experience the nerves with them in the beginning and then slowly see them come around from being maybe a little more nervous and timid to getting in and swimming with the dolphins and being excited about that, it's really cool to be able to be a part of that.
When I retired, I felt, for lack of a better word, I felt broken.
Did anything surprise you that you weren't expecting to feel?
I think it's just being outside in the nature, just the calm that comes with it, and just how intuitive the dolphins were with us. It's the calm.
Hey, Tina. I just want to make sure that I do my part to help those heroes that came back from defending us. And if we can all join hands and do a little bit, I think we'll be a better world.
There we go. We're out.
But dolphins aren't the only animals who can help veterans. There is a land where heroes are rescued, human and alike. And it's found in the most unexpected place.
The Fox Weather app.
Make sure your Fox Weather notifications are on.
Not just a forecast, an experience. Easily accessible. With the tap of a finger.
Only as time passes, this is going to get worse.
The power of the storm is being unleashed.
Fast, reliable, and best of all, tailored to your location and your needs.
We do appreciate you joining us here on Fox Weather.
Fox Weather, we've got you covered. Download the free app now and make it your own.
Getting back to nature is a cliche until your life depends on it, and for some, that is not an exaggeration. Where do you go to be rescued? It's not where you might think. Wedged in between multi-million-dollar homes 30 minutes outside of New York City, where movie stars and rock stars live. Amy and Mark Stepp have created a place where the connection is wild.
Hey, Amy. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for coming. We're
Absolutely.
so
excited for today.
So the Unbridled Heroes Project, we started off as a wild horse rescue. It was kind of an experiment, bringing in these wild horses that were captured out west, gentling them, using a holistic way to train them instead of breaking them, and then seeing if they could help others in their healing. We rescue the ones that we can.
Mark and Amy have 11 horses. 6 of them are wild mustangs.
Out west, there's bands of wild horses that are roaming. They're seen as nuisances. They're rounding them up, and pretty soon they'll be extinct. So as the Mustangs going through their process of healing, we thought what a cool idea it would be to bring in our combat veterans. For our American hero who goes to war, we had the idea of merging the two together and having them help each other heal.
To fully understand Amy's story, we have to go back to when she joined the service.
So I served in the Marine Corps for 4 years. I was active duty. My time in the Marine Corps was incredible. I grew up in Ridgewood. I was adopted from Colombia. I knew nothing else. As soon as I was 18, I signed up for the Marine Corps, not knowing really what it was. And it was the biggest wake-up call for me to be grateful for everything I had here growing up, for what my parents provided. I was in when the war happened. I didn't go to Iraq. So I didn't understand. I had friends that went and came back and were okay, but when Mark came back, it was different.
How you doing? Name's Mark Stepp. I was part of the greatest team, the green team. It was the military. I was a gunner on Bradleys, Humvees, and then also dismount, team leader. So you know, it was interesting.
Interesting. That's a hero's word for terrifying.
I got knocked around a few times. Vehicle rollover. When we get hit, it's rough, because that is your brother, and then you have to pick him up, and you know, you're picking up pieces of him, and it is hard. But that's why, I don't know. I know they wouldn't want us to give up.
When Mark came back, it was different, and I didn't understand why he couldn't just get over it, which sounds horrible. I didn't understand what he had gone through as an infantryman. His unit lost 18 men. That's his own trauma that I'll never understand.
Everyone handles it differently, and it is hard. When I came back from Iraq, I honestly was messed up for a long time. I was drinking myself to sleep for at least 2 years straight. I know my buddies that passed, they wouldn't be happy with me for doing that, but I was struggling with how to handle, you know, what happened over there. And
it's 22 suicides a day, and I get it. And we had every resource, and nothing helped. Nothing helped. So I see why people give up. At this time where we were at the lowest in our lives, we came across this horse rescue. We started being with these horses every day and gaining their trust. And slowly what was happening to us was spiritually we were healing. Physically we were healing. We were getting stronger. They taught us things that no therapist could teach us, no other experience except being with them could teach us. Teamwork, having to lift, you know, bales of hay together, talking together. Mark and I started realizing that, you know, to get this task done, we needed each other. So we started talking again and laughing again and essentially falling back in love again. And the horses did that for us. Our kids started to heal again. I get like really choked up because they saved us. We wouldn't be here, Mark wouldn't be here if it wasn't for these horses. We had this dream, we had no money, nothing but a dream, and this little farm popped up and it was within our budget, and we just started. We started with nothing, and it's grown and it's changed so many lives, not just the horses, but people. It's been incredible.
One of those lives is Dan Cacavelli, an infantry Marine who served in Iraq and Afghanistan.
It's a very, very hyper-aggressive environment. You know, from the training, from the starting point, all the way up until you go into combat deployment, and then even when you come back, like it is hyper-aggressive, and it's nonstop. Not every second is a firefight, but every second you're in danger. You got to maintain this level of toughness. If you don't have that fire, you're not going to make it home, you know? And it's unfortunate. I have a really good friend. We would fire like warning shots or pin flares or whatever, but he didn't want to do any of that because he didn't want to run the risk of hurting someone. And he caught a grenade right to the head, you know? And that was the end of him. If there was like a person that I would like want to be, like it would be like that guy, but I was never like that guy, you know? He was just a really nice guy all the time. To everybody, everywhere we went. But, you know, in that situation, being a nice guy got him killed, you know? So he didn't have that fire. And that kind of stuff, like it sort of hardened that idea that I couldn't be too nice, or I couldn't be, you know, I didn't want to let go of the fire. I did a lot of work, man, with these horses. With the horses first, you know, is that first recognition that I had a fire inside me that just burned and burned and burned. Because, you know, survival, it's really hard to find the beginning and the end. When you come home, you're still hyper aggressive. Everything is aggressive on the inside. You get online at a grocery store and there's so many people around you, you want to fight everybody. That was when I realized that I had a lot of issues that I didn't deal with. And then I met Mark and Amy. I came here and I was like, wow, the power of the horse, right? So it really is unbelievable, like knowing, when you know because of the way you feel that that horse, that beautiful, majestic creature won't come near you. It's like, okay, I gotta fix this.
Fixing it meant connecting with Chirpa, a wild Mustang rescued by Mark and Amy.
One of the biggest components of animals in the bond is they're non-judgmental. No one is saying you're a bad person or why you like this way. They're just very accepting. It's very easy to be in the presence of an animal that is non-judgmental, that is intuitively loving, and I think all of the emotions that come from that relationship help to heal.
Let's go in, fellas. Let's go in. We'll go.
That's how we ended up starting this project. Trying to help other people and put a smile on their face and, you know, at least give them a moment of happiness, because that little moment of happiness, that can change anyone's perspective on the whole day, you know, the whole week. You know, if they remember that one moment when they touch a wild horse or something and they smile and they're like it's a wild horse. The healing process was, honestly, I've been through different programs and stuff and therapies and trying to get through it and work through it, but honestly, it was working with horses that put a smile to me. I come back and then I got horses that actually heal me.
To get near them, you have to be able to subdue that inner rage. Because again, they're gentle creatures. They don't want to be around that animosity. And they're herd animals. They eat, and they love. Like, that's what they do. They're not hunters, they're just gentle creatures. You don't want to admit that there's something wrong, but the fact of the matter is, if you serve time in a combat zone and you're completely okay, there's something completely wrong, you know, with you as a human being, because there's just no way you get to go through that experience and be normal again. I'm a better person. I'm a more complete person. You know, like, I was a really good Marine. You know, I really wore that hat well, but that hat only works in that environment. It doesn't work anywhere else. It's powerful, man. It really is. Horses will never not be a part of my life now. It'll always be a part of my life, and I'll always be grateful for it, that's for sure.
Walking with Dan and Chirpa, you definitely get the sense that they've healed together. Hi, Rain. It's more than Dan healing and Chirpa healing. It is extremely evident that they've healed together and made a bond together. Hi.
If you want to sew that wound up, you need to get out here and you need to do something about it. You need to take direct and immediate action.
My buddies, they'd want me to live on and smile. When I hear music, you know, certain songs on the radio, it reminds me of times when we're in the barracks and we're, you know, hanging out and having fun and barbecuing and, you know, those. But it still hurts just because they did die. But I don't know. I mean, so I'll say that I kind of know they're looking down on me every now and then, and I'd rather them smile instead of frown. You know, I'd rather make them smile and be like, "Good job, Step."
Nothing motivates me like hearing about our veterans. Whether it's because I come from a military family or I just get a chance to interact with them in my job, the appreciation I feel for them is limitless, and that drives me to challenge myself, even if it means going up against a world record holder.
Hello, Fox Weather users. I'm Janice Dean. The Fox Weather app is changing the game with custom features you've got to take advantage of. I'm here to guide you through these features so you can get the most out of your Fox Weather experience. Let me tell you about my favorite feature on the Fox Weather app, Future View. Fox Future View is a feature you can't find anywhere else. With a few simple steps, Future View allows you to track the weather in advance of any big events you have planned for the year. Going on vacation? Booking your honeymoon? Maybe a destination wedding or party? This is the perfect tool to help you plan ahead. Get a future forecast anywhere in the world nearly a year in advance. Here's how it works. Hit the Plan tab at the bottom of your screen. Then hit Create Event. Give it a name. Let's say Spring Break Trip. Then add a location, maybe to Miami. Pick a start and end date. Add a category and turn on notifications so we can alert you as your event gets closer. Then click Create. That's it. Give it a try now. This is just one of many great features the Fox Weather app provides to you. This app is full of all kinds of great customizable tools. So dive in and make the Fox Weather app your very own. Fox Weather, weathering it together.
This is Vanessa O'Brien. She is no joke. She's the first woman on Earth to reach its highest point and its lowest. That's a world record. She scaled Everest and K2, the first American woman to do so. She's been to the North and South Poles. She also throws a lovely barbecue. Have you ever been invited to a party and gotten the feeling you're being set up?
So much of climbing or mountaineering is hiking. Almost 80 or 90% of it is just hiking. You're outdoors, you're going one step at a time. It's not about speed, it's just an endurance activity. It doesn't even have to be a big mountain. We could be like where we'll be tomorrow.
So I guess we're going on a hike. And not that I need convincing, but she's brought her friend Roger, a neurosurgeon, to help persuade me. So what inspired me to go on these journeys with all these people that we've been on is in my own life, I have an autistic child. And over the years, since we've gone past diagnosis, I've noticed that my child really flourishes when we're outside. Anytime that we are hiking or they're in the water, it's as if they can tap into their true self. And the noise is reduced and they're able to really go to another level of connection. How do you think being outside really helps us connect with our brain?
The stimulation of multiple, areas in your brain that are usually not being touched. That's something that that's impossible to experience if you're not where you are, when you're not doing it. And that goes deep into your brain and it calms down your brain waves, it calms down your anxiety. And that's really the secret to relaxation, and I think at the end of the day, peace and happiness.
Peace and happiness. Hard to turn that down, but we better call in the big guns.
So where are we?
So we are in Hudson State Park. We'll see some amazing sights just really entrenched in nature as we keep hiking.
So what's the goal? What's our...
So we'll go up a little bit. We'll try to get to a vista where we can see a view, maybe something like the Hudson River, Bannerman's Island, something like that.
What does hiking and climbing provide to your body?
To be able to get out in nature, to be able to be at one with nature and hike and see things, take breaths of fresh air, listen to trains.
When we're stressed, we clamp down on our blood vessels, and that's what elevates blood pressure and puts us at risk. So when you're outside, you're enjoying nature, you're going on a hike, you're gonna what we call vasodilate. So that basically means we increase the size of the blood vessels. That's a good thing to do. We reduce the pressure on our blood vessels, and that reduces our overall blood pressure. That's what we see being outside.
That's the one we want. We didn't pass it though, that's good.
Okay.
But this has been our trail.
That's cool.
We just want to get to the top of this guy and then we'll come back down and out.
Neat. I love maps.
I know this.
Most meteorologists love maps of any type, whether it's a topography map or anything.
Your environment plays a big role. If you're in a stressful work environment, or for me in an ER setting, there is a lot of noise, there's a lot of sounds, and your body is releasing adrenaline and cortisol, and that's what you need in those environments. But when you're outside in nature, it's the opposite. So you're releasing those feel-good hormones. That's why you feel good. The dopamine, the serotonin. It's like when you go for a run, that runner's high.
You're at peace with your environment wherever you are climbing.
So when you do the rock climbing,
You'll feel, you know, the great sense of going uphill and having a view of the Hudson River and, you know, seeing the islands and seeing West Point or other points of interest and feeling that you have a sense of achievement of just having reached there, and you'll also appreciate everything that you've seen as you pass those points of interest and feel a connection with those things. Just to come up over this rock and look to your left, and you're going to see a little island. Ah, there it is.
Oh, wow.
That's
That's
Bannerman's
amazing.
Island, and you see the castle right in the front.
It's almost like a forgotten castle. I mean, part of it's in the water?
Been blown up with a whole bunch of ammunition that was stored there over time.
Wow.
But for good luck, we're going to stop here, and we're all going to touch this tree.
Okay.
So everybody get a nice handhold. Hassan, come on over. This is the arrival tree for the top of Sugarloaf Mountain.
Bannerman's Castle sits on Paddleboard Island at the so-called northern gate of the Hudson Highlands, which made it a strategic location in early American history.
Different stories about what set the ammunition off, but when it went off, eventually the whole thing blew up, and all we have left is just that one side that has the side of the castle, and now all you can see is just the frame. The whole inside is gone.
Wow. At one time, the owner was an arms dealer, and in 1920, a cache exploded, leaving the shell that exists today. Abandoned castle. Very cool.
Great story.
It's been an incredible week of discovery, but in a way, my last stop takes me back to the beginning.
At Fox Weather, no matter the situation, we've got you covered.
Through the best and worst weather and everything in between.
We're all in this together.
Because there's nothing more important to us than keeping you safe.
From morning forecasts to holiday travel, we're here for you.
We have a passion for weather and a passion for people.
That's why we love what we do.
Fox Weather, weathering it together.
The impetus for my journey was how I saw my family and autistic child react to nature, how it helped them, helped all of us, in a world that to them can so many times feel like Times Square everywhere, even when looking for an escape. For most of us, taking a vacation is our refuge, but for some families, vacations can go from a tropical paradise to a living nightmare.
We appreciate you keeping the boarding lanes clear.
And off we go.
But the woman trying to change that is Becky Large.
Two autism moms in
bring it
A
in
golf
Surfside.
cart.
Yeah.
Her last name describes her personality. And the job she has undertaken for herself as founder and executive director of the Champion Autism Network, Becky's trying to change the way families with autism vacation.
And when we first started, we were doing everything here locally in Surfside and Myrtle Beach. And when I talked to the business committee, you know, why not invite everybody? And they were on board, and then the town declared themselves, you know, autism-friendly travel destination, and we just went from there. They embraced it.
She's invited me to dinner, a simple pleasure that eludes many autistic families. What is different about going to a restaurant if you have an autistic family member?
Well, we're not going to go out and, you know, to a restaurant where there's smells and crowds and all these kind of type things, and be open to judgment and ridicule and spend money, right? If we're not a very
like
nice...
you throw the money out.
Yeah, right. You know, it's like, why don't we just drive down the road and toss a bunch of 20s out the window?
Right.
Name is Angelo Antonucci. I own Angelo's Steak and Pasta.
Angelo has always embraced and supported our organization, our families living with autism. You know, inviting them into his restaurant with, you know, and participating in the training for him and his staff so that they can be accepting and aware.
I've known Becky Large for a long time, who is Champion Autism Network.
Angelo created rooms where autism families can eat without the sensory overload.
It's one of our private dining rooms. We call it the library, and we have another one. It's called the Cove. So depending on how many people we get reservation for that CAN, which room we'll use. They were designed for meetings or privacy, and so understanding the mechanics of not wanting the children to be coming through a large, noisy crowd of people, we can provide that quietness back there where they're not going to be overwhelmed. And I've had ups and downs in life that, you know, we always look at, it could have been better, this could have been this or that. Whatever I can do to help enrich someone else's life, I'll do it.
Enriching someone's life is as simple as changing the way autism families fly, or more specifically, how they land.
We instituted the first quiet or sensory room in the nation. Actually, it's probably one of the first in the world. The following week, there was one open in Atlanta, and then a couple months later, one in Ireland. Good tub, there you go.
Ah, this is great. I also love the pop of color. I mean, that's, you know, you have to think about all your senses, what you're smelling, what you're feeling, what you're seeing. Is it okay if I hop up there, Becky?
Of course.
Yeah? I'm gonna go in the middle one.
Get all happy.
This is where I would go. Ah, this is great. I'm gonna take a little nap right here. I could see my child just coming in here and just feeling very safe and grounded.
They can come and go into the quiet room, climb around, decompress, while a family member collects their bags and gets the rental car. So it just gives everybody a nice little time to just relax. It's a safe space, it's a quiet space, there's a door, so if you have an eloper, they can't run away. So we just thought that that was really important for our families to have. The little accommodations are so important.
CAN trains lifeguards on Surfside Beach to help families with special needs.
What was the number one thing that you took away from it that's going to change how you do your job?
They might not understand that you're just trying to help, but everybody deserves to have a safe beach.
We partner with Surf Dreams Foundation. A lot of people with autism are afraid of the water. There's just a high level of anxiety.
Surfing changes lives, and that's basically what it comes down to.
So what inspired you to work with kids with disabilities?
We decided that we wanted to work with all kids. There's a lot of organizations that are adaptive and kids with disabilities, so we wanted to make sure every kid has a chance to enjoy the sport that we love so much. They're in the moment, they're having fun, and they're smiling, and whatever else they have going on is just gone for that moment, and that's what makes it special.
Kat, you drove up from Charleston to take a part in surfing today. You have a son that loves the water. What does it mean to you to have programs like this for your son?
It's like Christmas. I mean, every day we keep our head down to keep them happy, and when there's something like this that's available to our kids that's inclusive and fun for them, I'm gonna drive 2 hours. I think a lot of it is not being able to feel his body in the world and where grounded, and so when he's in the water he's floating and just doesn't think about it.
I think in many of those environments when they're in water, they've also reduced the sensory overload that often happens in other types of environment, right? So when you're in an urban environment, there's just so much going on. But in these water settings, it's often very limited in terms of what's those sensory components that you're feeling. So when you have a challenge processing different senses, if you remove the number, as often is the case in water, that's going to help you.
I'm a better person having an autistic child. It's made up a fabric of who I am as a person, and at the end of the day, this world can become a much better place if we all learn to love and accept each other for whatever we are.
Right, exactly.
You know, for whatever we bring to the table, for our strengths, for our weaknesses, for our ins and our outs.
Let's do it. Let's go change the world. We're
Exactly.
gonna go change the world.
Becky is changing the world for the better. So is Kyle and Stephanie and Mandy and Amy and Vanessa. Perhaps it is time for you to go outside and see if nature changes you.
Britta, this is what I mean by forest bathing. We're not actually using soap and water, but we're actually just outside.
Immersing ourselves
right,
in the
taking
environment.
it all in. This is our forest bath. And how does it make you feel?
It feels really good.